This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
AI proofing your career. Welcome back to another edition of Real Answers, a regular Wednesday feature during the Family Life Noon Report, where we discuss the issues that matter to families with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson. Welcome back, Chris.
Good to be back, Mark.
Always great to have you back in the house here. You know, a few months ago, the head of AI at Microsoft predicted that most white-collar jobs will be fully automated by AI within the next 12 to 18 months. He said that AI will achieve human-level performance in professional tasks like marketing, legal, and accounting, marking a major shift in the workforce. Kind of scary if you're sitting there at your desk, at your computer job, and say, AI's, it's everywhere. It's just about every workplace to some degree. It's there already.
It really is. And the pace at which we're seeing this develop, I mean, really 2 years ago, most people hadn't even heard of AI at that point. So it is something that we all need to be aware of, but we do not, and we should not, approach this with excessive fear. Obviously, with that, we are commanded in the Bible not to worry. We are commanded to pray about things and lift things up to the Lord. There's been things in the past that we've needed to do the same thing. So we should approach this no differently from that perspective.
College kids who are graduating this month are entering a workplace that was so much different when they were freshmen. When they're coming out of college, they're seeing a whole different landscape. Graduates in computer science, which normally was a name-your-ticket job, not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore. And the reality of this is that even, say, software developers or website designers or whatever, they're really feeling the pinch of this because of how quickly AI is doing their jobs already. And the result of that is we're going to start to see people that are going to be starting to feel the heat very soon. I don't know if I would agree that in 12 to 18 months that white collar jobs are going to disappear. I would say a percentage will, but completely, I don't think so.
It probably would be safe to say that most of those jobs are going to be impacted significantly by AI.
Definitely impacted. And really, you know, the fact that we're discussing this today is a good opportunity to talk about what are those things that we can do to better prepare ourselves, not just understanding what AI is and also being aware of where it is at this point, what jobs are going to be impacted, but also what can we do right now other than informing ourselves? And I've got a few practical hints.
Let's dive in. I was reading an article in Forbes, which is a pretty good source, and they had a few thoughts of their own on what you can do. And one of them is become an AI expert in your office. Don't fight it, embrace it.
And that's right. I use AI not necessarily in my own office to work with my clients, but if I have to make tweaks to a form or make sure that my wording is accurate, or if I'm in compliance with New York state law, it is a very useful tool. But understanding in your own individual office place, where is it right now with respect to AI integration and what direction is it heading? And understanding how can you make yourself of value and an asset to your workplace when it comes to this particular issue. Now, that's great advice for anything. You know, people should be in the mindset, if you are working in a job that you have an employment structure with supervisors and ultimate, CEOs or whatever, what can you do to better improve your performance, not only in your specific role, but also the bigger picture to make yourself an asset more valuable to the organization itself. And that might require thinking outside the box and taking some extra steps here and there. And I'm not saying adding on so much to your own plate that isn't part of your job description, but finding out again, what are ways that you can work to encourage your coworkers or help out with maybe some administrative tasks that shows that you're taking initiative, that shows that you are valuing their bottom line. Are you working hard to help your organization achieve its goals, showing that you've got value as an individual and as a worker? Ultimately, make it hard for them to want to get rid of you. That's done by asking yourself, who is an asset to this company and how can I become that person?
As powerful a tool as AI is, the one thing that it can never truly be is something that has a human touch. That's one way that you can differentiate. I can't see that being replaced no matter how fancy your computer is.
You really just encapsulated actually the whole approach to this, and that is to understand that interpersonal connection and relationship with people is something that God wired you for. You need that. And that's one of the significant issues that I see showing up in my office over and over again, is that people are increasingly disconnected. And so clearly this is a situation with AI that could accelerate that in the wrong direction. So if you're in a workplace that requires personal interaction. That is a great way to improve your value to your employers. How are you reaching out to clients, to customers, to, whatever word you use to describe the people you interact with? We need to be looking for ways of connecting people. And ministries have a huge role in this right now because they are the ones that ultimately are tending to that God-given need that we all have, and that is to connect people. Here in my office, that's always, hands down, one of the first things I assess, regardless of what the actual issue is that brings people to my office, is how connected are you? And are you in a community of folks that's supportive to keep you grounded in reality and keep you grounded in the fact that that's how God wants us to operate in our communities, is being connected to it.
You're listening to Real Answers, a Wednesday feature of the Family Life Noon Report. We discuss the issues important to families with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson, talking about AI in the workplace. So let's go back to that. You said you had a few tips there. We talked about one or two of them. What else can someone do to AI-proof themselves, if you will?
Definitely, like I said, be aware of where the direction of your office is going. Secondly, have conversations with your employer. Just ask them specifically, what are some things that I can do to make myself of more value? And is there anything that I can do in the face of this to help improve your ability to function in your job and to remain in that position? Third, how are you doing with connecting with folks in other areas as well, in your church, in your communities? And are you making an effort to maintain and build on those connections? This is a two-way street. You will need some support from others if something does happen and you do lose your job, but also if others are losing their jobs, or somehow there's a shift and they're not able to maintain whatever it is, whether it's the same level of employment, they're going to need to have a sense of community around them as well. In the face of the uncertainty that does exist, we just need to be mindful, again, of just allowing God's truth to be true in every situation. This is absolutely one of those situations. Connecting with folks, if you're having a hard time with that, then that's something to mindfully address. Don't just assume it will happen, or if you find yourself saying, well, I'll get to it next week. Oh, I'll get back to church next week. Now, you might want to consider doing that pretty soon. Don't allow that procrastination to be tearing you down there. It's really important right now to address these things because they could be your huge supports in the future.
It just boils down to, man, the interpersonal connections have just never been more important than they are right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, those industries where they're centered around interpersonal connections, the service industry, for example, restaurants, coffee shops, those types of things. Now, of course, they're not huge salary jobs. However, they actually play a vital role in keeping people connected and allowing people to interact in meaningful ways. So those are places, too, that if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner that has one of these types of establishments, that just understand that you get a role. You get a role to play in this. And that's encouraging folks to stay connected through spending time at your establishment. And that obviously will help out the local economy as well.
Kind of puts a new spin on the old rallying cry, power to the people.
Absolutely.
It's all about people, man. You've been listening to Real Answers, a Wednesday feature of the Family Life Noon Report, where we discuss the issues important to families with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson. Thanks as always, Chris.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.